Have you ever left out a dark joke and then immediately regret laughing at it? Well, this movie gets you. You watch My Dead Friend Zoe and don't at least get misty-eyed, I'm gonna assume that you sold your soul to Mephisto. Because really, are you okay? Well, all jokes aside, let's talk about this beautifully dark, dramatic, gut punch of a film. It took me on one of those emotional rides that you think you're prepared to get on, but then when you're finished and you're done, you're sitting there like, what? I do this to myself. It blends dark comedy, trauma, and heartfelt storytelling in a way that shouldn't work but does. Sonequa Martin-Green carries this film like a champ. She plays Merritt, a U.S. veteran who's suffering from severe PTSD. When I say suffering, I mean battling, and I don't mean in an inspirational way. It's often hard to watch, emotionally draining, and painful to see. And Sonequa nails this role. She brings such raw depth to this character. She's not just like a character suffering from grief and trauma. She's a full person who's trying to connect, even though she's failing, to her family, juggle her life, and get her life back on track. Her best friend Zoe, played by the great Natalie Morales, is right by her side the whole time, cracking jokes, pushing her to engage in life, and just giving her advice when she needs it. But the plot twist here is, and obviously by the title, Zoe is dead. Natalie Morales is actually hilarious throughout the film. Playing Zoe, she makes comments on everything Merritt does, cracking jokes, and especially dark jokes in serious situations where she's probably shouldn't be cracking those kind of jokes. And she's that kind of friend that roasts you, but only because she loves you. And at first, she feels like she's just being played for comic relief to add some humor to the film. It's never like big laugh out laughs throughout the film, but constant little quips here and there that make you smile and giggle. But as the movie unfolds and the layers start unpacking, you realize that she's here for a darker reason. She represents Merritt's trauma and everything she's going through, but in physical form. She's not just a quirky hallucination, she's a manifestation, a ghostly manifestation of her trauma. And the movie doesn't tread lightly on the subject of PTSD. It's not right in your face, but does a really good job of showcasing what PTSD is kind of like. In fact, it's one of the most realistic portrayals of PTSD I've seen, and how it encompasses someone's life. The lingering presence of trauma, how it warps your everyday life, makes it difficult for you to open up, and it's really hard to watch Merritt go through this. There's so many moments in the movie where it's like, just say something, open up. But from my perspective, with someone that's not dealing with the trauma she's dealing with, it may seem easy, but she's stuck in this cycle and it's brutal to watch. And just when you feel like you have the movie flow figured out, the movie hits you with something deeper, something raw, something emotionally moving, that you're like, oh, okay, this movie is not just a dark comedy. It is something a little with more substance, something that's going to maybe wreck me emotionally as they start pulling out what is going on with Merritt. Luckily, we also have some acting legends in this film to ground everything. First up, we have Morgan Freeman, who's her group counselor, and this man is 87 years old, but looks like he hasn't lost a beat. He elevates every single scene, and he delivers lines like a philosophical sledgehammer. It's like the movie pauses so he can let the words out. He's very much an anchor in this movie when it comes to certain emotional beats. And he does a really great job of bringing out a lot out of this character that she wouldn't be able to display otherwise. And while Morgan Freeman is making every single scene emotionally heavy, on the other side, the other vet in this film, acting vet at least, is Ed Harris, who is playing Merritt's grandfather and has Alzheimer's. The dynamic between Harris and Martin-Green is fantastic. They have a really good chemistry and they feel like family. The relationship is messy, it's real, and super relatable, especially if you're close or somewhat not close with your parental figures anymore. Merritt is juggling a bunch of things in her life right now, having to go to these counseling situations, or she might end up in jail. And now with her grandfather dealing with Alzheimer's, she wants to help him, but also doesn't want to deal with it at the same time. So when she finally dives in and helps and starts helping her grandfather, played by Ed Harris, is really an emotional, moving moment and starts a really great arc. And throughout the film, we get a lot of flashbacks detailing the relationship between Zoe and Merritt as they were in the army, their codependency, how they leaned on to each other, also hinting to the way that she may have died. And it gives you just enough to keep you guessing and keep you engaged. But when it's finally revealed, it hurts.
Emotional damage. women.
It's one of those kind of moments that makes you sit back and really exhale and think about calling up a loved one so you could talk to them and tell them how much you love them, especially one that you haven't talked to in a long time. Because the way these characters interact with each other and the reasons why she passes away, it hit me like a truck because I thought it was going to be some stereotypical stuff, and it was just something very different in the way they executed everything and the way the actors did everything in terms of how they reacted or recollect these moments was so powerful. Two very great performances here by Sonequa Martin-Green and Natalie Morales. The way everything comes together is heartbreaking, also cathartic. The movie doesn't wallow in the trauma, but it does showcase it in a real way so you can feel and understand what this character is going through with her PTSD while sprinkling humor in it, because obviously there's always some humor in life, and having a really good ebb and flow in terms of going back between the drama, the dark comedy, and the traumatic situation that she's going. It shows the difficulty of when you're in that cycle of trauma, how hard it is to get out of it. Also showcases the small steps you have to take to move forward. I had to nitpick the film, and obviously I'm a movie reviewer. I'm gonna have to nitpick. My one gripe with the movie is the fact that it kind of feels like it moves a bit slow. There are some relationships that they introduce here that I wish they expounded upon and how they affect her mentality, especially her grudging relationship with her mom. And then also she had kind of like this love interest in the film that I feel like they really should have explored a little bit more, and other different like relationships and things and aspects of her life that I wish they explored so we can get a little deeper dive into her character. But they've really stayed focused on what was going on with her and her grandfather, which was great. I really like the chemistry between Merritt and Ed Harris's character, but I really wish we got a little bit more throughout the film so it didn't feel like the film was kind of slow and sluggish in parts, even though I'm still enjoying my time. At the end of the day, this movie is not a film about grief. It's about the struggles and the trials and tribulations of letting go. Heartbreaking is funny. It can be uncomfortable depending on your experience with trauma and PTSD, if you're a veteran yourself or if you lost someone in your family. If you've ever been in a holding pattern or struggle to let go, this one is definitely going to hit hard. With that said, I'm going to give my Dead Friend Zoe a C+. Question of the day is, what is a film that you watched that wrecked you emotionally? Drop your comments down below so we can cry all together. You can watch more content in this video right here.